The LBS Game Awards. 18 schools, 54 games total, competed for 8 different categories. Certainly some steep competition, but we've handled worse. There are many reasons one might want to make a video game. Money, passion, a love for the craft. All admirable motivations, but us? We just want to win. When we decided that we were to make a game outside of a game jam, we first needed to decide on what kind of game we wanted to make. Therefore, we had a meeting where several of our members held presentations on what they thought the game should be like. The game was to be relatively small in scope, something that our small indie studio could handle with ease within a relatively short time period. The game was not even supposed to be submitted to the competition at first. Many great ideas were pitched, such as a game about fishing, a game about bomb manufacturing, and most notably, a game about a time-traveling monkey. That one was pitched by me and ended up being the one we ran with. The game, temporarily nicknamed Super Monkey Time Traversal Chronicles, was presented as a fast-paced platformer shooter taking inspirations from games such as Hotline Miami, Katana Zero, and My Friend Pedro. The twist was, as previously mentioned, that the main character, a monkey, could traverse time. This was, at the time, imagined to be like Tracer's Blink from Overwatch, an ability which, upon use, would send the player back to the position they were 3 or so seconds prior. The game was initially meant to have an art style similar to something like Dead Cells, with high-res assets downscaled to a lower resolution to mimic a pixel art style. We eventually decided against this, however, as traditional 2D art was far better looking and even more convenient for us. The story of the game is that a man named Dr. E. Will sent the monkey forwards in time in an experiment, leading to an accident trapping the ape in the future along with his newfound time-bending abilities. The monkey, fixated on revenge, makes his way to Dr. E. Will, killing anything that stands in his way. Concept art and prototyping soon started. The hazmat suit wearing monkey soon took shape, and so did his adversaries. Goons, mutated beasts, and even Dr. Evil himself were all being worked on, alongside all other important game mechanics we wanted in the game. The benefit of working in a team is of course that one doesn't have to spread themselves all too thin when there are other people who can take up your tasks for you. Though some tasks are more infuriating than others, such as fixing the, as per usual, ever broken rewind mechanic. Of course, made by myself. As the game progressed further and further, we eventually decided that we wanted to increase the scope of the game to eventually turn it into the LBS Game Awards. The name Super Monkey Time Traversal Chronicles also stuck around by popular demand, even though it was only supposed to be a joke name. The genre and general gameplay also took a bit of a shift around this time. It went from a fast-paced, high-risk, high-reward shooter to a more methodical puzzle game. This was done as the rewind simply didn't really fit the previous gameplay style. There was rarely a scenario where the player felt the need to use the rewind, meaning that the main hook of the game became next to redundant. And so we made the decision to add more puzzle elements to the game and integrated the rewind into them, leading to all other gameplay mechanics revolving around the rewind mechanic. Think like the portal gun from Portal. And as a result, the rewind went from a Overwatch style rewind to a more free flow rewind where the player could rewind to wherever he wanted to. All he has to do is hold down the button. This of course led to the rewind breaking in several ways at several times throughout development.
Something wrong, Patrick? You're sweating.
Oh, and don't worry, we still have our fair share of high-stakes shootouts in the game. But the deadline was quickly approaching. We scrambled for the last couple of days, but in the end we could only get a smaller part of the game done in time. The build was by no means perfect, only sporting one world with several bugs and glitches we did not yet know about, such as the newly broken rewind mechanic. We were, however, still pretty confident that we would be nominated for our age bracket due to one simple reason. We simply didn't know of anyone else who had planned to participate with the game. But, alas, as I went to submit the game, my heart dropped to my stomach. As I opened the submission site, there it was. Competition. Someone else had, unbeknownst to us, submitted a game and our nomination was no longer assured. And a few days later, it arrived. Judgment Day. As the judges decided on who to nominate, we all worked on the build we would send in to the awards as if we had already been nominated. And how couldn't we? If we were to be nominated, we had to contribute to a decent game. And later that day, we received the final verdict. We had beaten the competition and were nominated to compete in the LBS Game Awards. The competition we made this game for will already have been concluded when this video goes up, and our Steam page will likewise be up and running. Both the The competition we made this game for will already have been concluded when this video goes up, and our Steam page will likewise be up and running. Both the outcome of the competition and the release of the full game will be revealed in our next video, talking about the rest of the game, so you'll simply have to wait until then. In the meanwhile, why not wishlist the game? Just take a look at what you're in for.